Hello everyone, I'm Harsimrat and I welcome you to our session on the j, z and zh sounds. This session is very important because in our part of the country, we have a problem with these sounds. There is a lot of mother tongue influence when we pronounce these particular consonant sounds. This session targets this problem. At the end of the session, we will know exactly what to do to rectify our mispronunciation or misenunciation of these sounds. We will be able to clearly enunciate the j, the z and the zh sounds. We'll make sure that we pronounce words with these sounds correctly. And it'll do a lot for our pronunciation. So let's proceed with the session. The j sound. Everybody, please repeat after me. Jungle. Put your hands here. J, j, jung, jungle. We would notice vibration in the vocal cords. J is a voiced sound. There's something else we need to know about j. When you try to enunciate the sound, where does your tongue go? It's a post-alveolar sound or a palato-alveolar sound. The blade of your tongue should move near the back of your alveolar ridge. The tongue has to be raised. The sides of your tongue should also be raised. So put your tongue there and then say j, 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 j. So it's a voiced sound, it's a palato-alveolar sound, and one more thing. It's an affricate. Now we've done the session on t and d sounds and p and b sounds. We've learned what a plosive is. A plosive is formed when there is complete blockage of the air stream by the tongue, and then the tongue withdraws or the lips, and then there is sudden release of air which comes out of your mouth with an explosive sound. The affricate, however, is slightly different. Here the air stream is blocked, but there is slow release. So I will not say j quickly, it's a slower sound as compared to the p or the t. Everybody feel the sound. J, j, j. It's a voiced palato-alveolar affricate. J, 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 j. Good. Now let us enunciate the j sound in some words. Please repeat after me and loudly. Jungle, jungle, manage, manage. The j is at the end of the word. Everybody loudly. Manage, manage. Next, pledge, pledge. Jam, jam. Japan, Japan. Good. Not Japan like we tend to say in Punjab. Punjab for that matter. Punjab. Intelligent, intelligent. Adjust, adjust. Suggest, suggest. Now you may notice that I'm not doubling the G. It's not suggest, suggest. Good. Huge, huge. Brinjal, Brinjal. Encourage, encourage. Dangerous, dangerous. Good. Well done. Now we have an interesting activity where you have to match the columns to name the place. In column A, there's a description of a place or a clue given. In column B, you have the names of places, all with the j sound. You have to match the columns. I'll read column A first. A technologically advanced country in Asia. Next, the European nation responsible for starting World War II. Next, the business capital of South Africa. Next, a Middle East country ruled by King Hussein's son. Next, the capital of Indonesia. Column B, Jordan. Please repeat after me. Jordan, Jakarta, Japan, Johannesburg. Once more, Johannesburg and Germany. Now match the columns quickly. I'll give you around 30 seconds for this. Were you able to attempt that activity? I hope your workbooks were open and your pens were ready. And of course, once you started matching the columns, you did it all right. The solutions. A technologically advanced country in Asia is, yes, Japan. The European nation responsible for starting World War II, Germany. The business capital of South Africa, yes, Johannesburg. A Middle East country ruled by King Hussein's son is Jordan. And the capital of Indonesia, Jakarta. I'm sure you got all those answers right. Next, we have some sentences for you. These are also printed in your workbooks. I'd like you to identify all the words in which there is the j sound. The first sentence. Roads are much too dangerous for children to cross them alone. The word with the j sound is dangerous. Next, the gentleman encouraged the intelligent lady to jump over the puddle. Quite a naughty gentleman. And the words with the j sound are gentleman, encouraged, intelligent, jump. 4 words. Next, I love to have bread and jam for breakfast. There is one word with the j sound. I'm sure you've been able to identify it. Jam. Next, the suburbs of Calcutta at that time were surrounded by thick jungle. Again, there's one word with the j sound, jungle. And the last sentence. The school encourages students to express themselves through music. I'm sure you heard the j sound clearly. It was in the word encourages. Good. Now let's move on to yet another activity. Here I'm going to read out a passage and you have to choose the right adjective from amongst 2 options. Let's begin. Our new dog Cuddle is very energetic or evil. Pick the right option. He is also very intense or intelligent. Every time I come back from school, he starts jumping or adjusting with joy. One day he jumped so high that he injured or ignored himself. I rushed him to the emergency or urgency ward in the hospital. What ward do you have in the hospital where you rush people? The doctor checked him up and told me that he had derailed or damaged his hind legs and so may end up limping for a long time. Poor dog. I took it as a channel or challenge and took good care of my dog. His injury or forgery healed in no time, and this time I was jumping with joy. What a lovely story. Here are the answers. Our new dog Cuddle is very energetic. He is also very intelligent. Every time I come back from school, he starts jumping with joy. That's what dogs do. One day he jumped so high that he injured himself. I rushed him to the emergency ward in the hospital. The doctor checked him up and told me that he had damaged his hind legs, the back legs so to say, and so may end up limping for a long time. I took it as a challenge and took good care of my dog. His injury healed in no time, and this time I was jumping with joy. I just love that story, and I hope you did too. So far, we have learned to enunciate the j sound correctly. We have learned that it is a voiced palato-alveolar affricate, j. Now we move on to another sound, and this is the z sound. Everybody put your hands on your vocal cords. Repeat after me. Z, z, z. जोर से बोलो. Z, z. If somebody is not sure which sound we mean, think of the sound in zindagi. Zindagi. That is the sound. In this sound, there is a definite vibration of the vocal cords. It's a voiced sound. Where in the mouth do we form the sound? Tell me. Z. Z. It's an alveolar sound. The tip of your tongue moves near your teeth ridge. And one more thing. What kind of a sound is it? It is a fricative, a friction sound, a continuous sound. If I start saying Z, I can carry on saying it as long as my breath lasts or until I stop the sound myself. Zzz. Why did the Z stop? Because I stopped the breath. So everybody once more, the friction sound. Zzz, 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 Z, Z, Z. In the sound j, there's a complete closure in the mouth, and the sound is formed with a slow release of air. But the z sound is a continuous sound. There's no closure. The tip of the tongue moves close to the alveolar or the teeth ridge, but there's no closure. And as the breath passes through that narrow gap, there is the friction of the sound. In North India, these are problematic sounds. A lot of people would not say z, they would simply pronounce the j. So we need to do some work on this sound. It's an interesting piece of information that you don't find the Z sound in Hindi or in Punjabi. You find only the J. This sound actually comes to us from Urdu. Z. So we need to put in a little bit of effort to correct the enunciation of this sound. Now let us enunciate the Z sound in a few simple words. Please repeat after me. Zoo, zoo. Quiz, quiz. The Z is at the end of the word. Quiz. Ozone, ozone. Pizza, pizza. Now here we actually pronounce it as peat, the T, peat and then Z. Pizza, pizza. Next, graze, graze. Razor, razor. Zip, zip. Sizzle, sizzle. Something hot would sizzle. Next, lazy, lazy. Zone, zone. Everybody louder. Easy, easy. Busy, busy. Crazy, crazy. Wise, wise. Boys, boys. Business, not business please, business, business, business. My father is a businessman. Next, realize, realize. Refuse, refuse. And the last word, hazardous, hazardous. It comes from hazard and not hazard like a lot of us tend to say. Once more, hazardous. So that was hard work. A lot of us had to work very hard to enunciate the Z correctly in words. Now we have an activity for you. Here you have to match the columns to choose the right verb. In column A, we have some clues for you. In column B, we have the answers to those clues, which are all verbs. So, pick up your pens, please, and match the columns. I'll read column A first. To appreciate someone. To appreciate someone. To appreciate someone. Next, to sort out the clutter. To sort out the clutter. Next, to uncover something. To uncover something. Next, to go to see someone. To go to see someone. Next, to surprise someone. To surprise someone. And the last one, to make someone happy. To make someone happy. Column B, the verbs. Visit, amaze, please, organize, expose and praise. All the words have the Z sounds. Once more everybody, loudly. Visit, amaze, please, organize, expose, praise. Now match the columns quickly and we'll discuss the solutions shortly. Here are the solutions. To appreciate someone is to praise. To appreciate someone, praise. Next, to sort out the clutter, safai karna, organize. To sort out the clutter, organize. To uncover something, expose. To uncover something or find out something or the other, expose. To go to see someone, visit. I'm sure you got that right. To go to see someone, visit. To surprise someone, amaze. To surprise someone, amaze. And to make someone happy, please. To make someone happy, please. I can see a lot of you smiling, and I'm very glad that a lot of people did this activity very well. Now, let us listen to the Z sound in sentences. The sentences are of course given in your workbooks. Pick up your pens and underline all the words in which you can hear the Z sound enunciated. The first sentence. Rita loves to go to the amusement park. Rita loves to go to the amusement park. The words with the Z sound are loves and amusement. Loves, amusement. Next, let's have pizza for dinner. The word with the Z sound is pizza. Everybody please repeat the word. Pizza. 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 Next, the boys in this class are very naughty. I'm sure they are, and I hope the girls are too. The boys in this class are very naughty. The word with the Z sound is boys. Boys. I hope nobody is saying boyj. Next, I saw a zebra grazing on rose bushes in the zoo. I saw a zebra grazing on rose bushes in the zoo. There are several words with the Z sound. Zebra, grazing, rose bushes, zoo. Once again, everybody. Zebra, grazing, rose bushes, zoo. Next, please don't make noise as this is a silence zone. Please don't make noise as this is a silence zone. The words with the Z sound, please, noise, as zone. Please, noise, as zone. And the last sentence, short and sweet one. I refuse to lie. I refuse to lie. Refuse has a Z sound. Refuse. Good. Well done. Now it's activity time, and I love activities. Now you have to fill in the blanks using idioms relating to body parts. All these words have the Z sound in them. So open your workbooks, please. Let's start right away. During the lecture, the students were all dash. A body part with a Z sound somewhere in it ending in R and S. During the lecture, the students were all dash ending in R, S. Next, during his performance, he was all dash starting with Fin. Fin. And dash starting with TH. During his performance, he was all dash and dash. The first starts with fin, the second with th. Next, she was the apple of her daddy's dash, ending with es. Next, he refused to be led by the dash, starting with n. He refused to be led by the dash. It starts with n. And the last one, everyone said Vineet had an old head on young dash, starting with sh, ending with rs. Everyone said Vineet had an old head on young dash, starting with sh, ending with rs. If you know the idiom, of course, you would know what the answer is. Otherwise, you can think about it and maybe you can find some answers. Here are the solutions. During the lecture, the students were all ears. The students were all ears. They were listening carefully. During his performance, he was all fingers and thumbs. Now, this is an idiom which means he was very clumsy. Next, she was the apple of her daddy's eye. To be the apple of your daddy's eye means to be the favorite. He refused to be led by the nose. He refused to be led by the nose. To be led by the nose means to be forced to do something against one's wishes. But this person refuses to be led by the nose. Everyone said Vineet had an old head on young shoulders. This means that Vineet is a wise man, or that Vineet is wise beyond his years. This means that Vineet is wise beyond his years, a mature person. So I hope you enjoyed this activity. And even if you didn't know these idioms, now you do. And I'm sure you can use them. So far in this session, we have discussed the j and the z sound. Now we move on to our third target sound, which is correct, the zh sound. Everybody put your hand on your vocal cords. Tell me, is the zh sound voiced or voiceless? Even if you can't produce the sound, what does it sound like? I think you can hear the vibration in it. You can actually hear the vibration in it. Zh sound is a voiced sound. Many of us have a problem with this sound. Our attention may never have gone to this sound. अभी तक तो शायद हमें पता भी नहीं था कि ऐसी कोई sound होती है. This is because it's not there in our vernacular languages. Hindi or Punjabi. It is an English sound. So we may have to make some effort to enunciate this sound. But it can be done. Let's try to understand how this sound is produced. First of all, is a voiced sound. You can actually hear the vibration in the sound. It's quite clear that it's a voiced sound. The second thing we need to understand is that it's a post-alveolar sound, just like j. To create the j sound, the front of the blade of the tongue is placed near the tooth ridge. The sides of the blade of the tongue may be against the side teeth. Air is forced through the vocal tract during the creation of the sound. So just like j, the placement of the tongue is against the back of the alveolar ridge, and the tongue is flattened or raised from the sides. Okay. This sound is a palato-alveolar sound similar to j, except that in j, the tongue touches the area behind the alveolar ridge, but in the j sound, it does not quite touch it. And the main difference is that j is an affricate, where there's a sudden release of air, but j is a fricative, like the z. So what we have to understand is that we have to raise the tongue into the palato-alveolar position. But the tongue should not exactly touch the alveolar ridge. There should be a little space. And we have to force the air out in the manner of a fricative. It's a continuous sound. It may be a little difficult for us to enunciate the sound, but with practice, it can be done. Now let us practice the j sound in words. Please repeat after me as loudly as you can. Measure, measure. Television, television. Garage, garage. Usual, usual. Casual, casual. Confusion, confusion. Vision, vision. Pleasure, pleasure. Version, version. Occasion, occasion. Decision, decision. And illusion, illusion. We do notice that the sound is in the later part of the word or towards the end of the word. Next, we have an activity for you based on the j sound. It's the match the column activity. You have to match the clues given in column A or on the left with the j sound words in the next column. Let me read column A first. You can't decide which dress to wear. You can't decide which dress to wear. Next, you have an exam the next day. You have an exam the next day. Next, you want to watch your favorite soap. You want to watch your favorite soap. Next, you do it all the time. You do it all the time. Next, you park your car safely. You park your car safely. Next, your friend is very nosy. Interfering. Your friend is very nosy. Next, a poor attitude. A poor attitude. The words in column B, and please repeat them after me loudly. Garage, garage. Intrusion, intrusion. Confusion, confusion. Revision, revision. Casual, casual. Television, television. And usual, usual. Now match the columns quickly, and when we get back in 30 seconds, we'll discuss the solutions. Here are the answers. You can't decide which dress to wear. Confusion. You have an exam the next day. What do you need to do? Revision. You want to watch your favorite soap. We don't mean sabun, we mean program. On television. You do it all the time. Usual. You park your car safely in the garage. Your friend is very nosy. Intrusion. A poor attitude. Casual. I hope none of you are casual. No, you're not, and I'm very happy to hear that. Now let us identify the j sound in sentences. I'd like you to pick up your pens and underline all the words with the j sound in the sentences I'm going to read out. They are printed in your workbooks. The first sentence. It's a pleasure to meet a man with a vision. It's a pleasure to meet a man with a vision. The j sound is in pleasure and vision. Next. Malaysia and Indonesia lie in Asia. Malaysia and Indonesia lie in Asia. Now this may sound a little funny to us because we've been using the sh so far. Asia, Malaysia, Indonesia. But the correct pronunciation is actually with the j sound. Malaysia, Indonesia, Asia. Once more. Malaysia, Indonesia, Asia. You may have heard the advertisement, Malaysia, truly Asia. Okay, next sentence. Holidays are a time for leisure and pleasure, but in a measured dose. Holidays are a time for leisure and pleasure, but in a measured dose. I'm sure you've noticed the words leisure, pleasure, and measured. Next, his brother worked in the telecom division of a big company. His brother worked in the telecom division of a big company. The j sound is in division. And the last sentence. A wedding ceremony is a happy occasion. I think we really enjoy our weddings, don't we? A wedding ceremony is a happy occasion. Yes, the j sound is in the word occasion. Please repeat, occasion. Good. Now listen to the conversation which follows. I'm going to speak to someone who will make a lot of mistakes relating to the j sound. I'm sure you can identify all these mistakes. And then we'll compare notes. How were your exams, Reema?
Great, ma'am. I have passed class 12th with first division marks.
I see. What was your daily routine in school?
I usually used to get up at 5 a.m. After getting ready, I used to do my revision. I used to go to school on my scooter, which I would park in the garage at the school. On returning from school, I would rest for some time after taking lunch, and in the evening, I would watch some television.
And what are your future plans?
I visualize myself as a successful manager.
I see. All the best, Reema. It was nice talking to you.
It was my pleasure.
These were the words mispronounced in the conversation. Division. Please repeat them after me. Division. Usually. Usually. Revision. Revision. Garage. garage, television, television, visualize, visualize, pleasure, pleasure. Now let's listen to the conversation once again, and this time the pronunciation is correct. How were your exams, Reema?
Great, ma'am. I have passed class 12th with first division marks.
What was your daily routine in school?
I usually used to get up at 5 a.m. After getting ready, I used to go to school on my scooter, which I would park in the garage at the school. On returning from school, I would rest for some time after taking lunch, and in the evening, I would watch some television.
I see. What are your future plans?
I visualize myself as a successful manager.
All the best, Reema. It was nice talking to you.
It was my pleasure.
We have a last activity for you, and this activity includes all three target sounds: the j, the z, and the zh sounds. You have to choose the right option out of the two given options in order to fill in the blanks and make a meaningful sentence. Here you have to pick the correct option. The first question: you maintain your accounts in a leisure or ledger? I'll repeat. You maintain your accounts in a ledger or leisure. The right option would be ledger with a j sound. Ledger. Next, you measure or measure the temperature. You measure or measure the temperature. The answer is measure. Measure. Next, you go out for pleasure or pager. You go out for pleasure or pager. Right, you go out for pleasure. Once again, pleasure. Next, he turned red with rage or raise. He turned red with rage or raise. The right option is rage. He turned red with anger or rage. Next, the lion escaped from his craze or cage. The lion escaped from his craze or cage. Correct. The right option is cage. Next, she bought a pair of beige or beige trousers. I'll repeat. She bought a pair of beige or beige trousers. The right option is beige. Beige is skin color as we call it. Once again, everybody, beige. Next, he was playing football for the North Zone or Zone. He was playing football for the North Zone or Zone. The right option is zone. Everybody, zone. Joan would be a girl's name. With that, we come to the end of the session. It's been a very interesting session. It is a very important session. In this session, we've learned to enunciate the j, z and zh sounds correctly. We've practiced these sounds in lots of words, and I want you to keep up that practice. Until I meet you again in some other session, bye-bye.